Welcome to the Knightline Podcast, your source for UCF football and former UCF player information. All right, Night Nation, this is Andrew Phegley coming to you from the 1148 studios, and to my left over here,
as always, this is Troy Ondrizek.
Alrighty, this is episode number 13. And, well, we had a football game this last Saturday. It was at noon. It was hot. And I don't think everybody quite showed up. I don't think the fans showed up. And I don't think the players showed up.
Theoretically, yes, some fans showed up. What was the announced attendance?
I don't know, to be honest. I think it was like 32-something, to be honest with you.
You know, I thought maybe it was a little higher because, you know, definitely the stands looked quite empty. But when you walk down on a little promenade in between, that place was packed.
It was hot. I mean, I have a sunburn like you would not believe.
I'm sunburned on half of my face, like Two-Face from Batman.
Yeah.
But I'm not scary, so it just makes me comical looking.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I have a sunglass mark on one side. I actually wound up, I got a free T-shirt out in the parking lot and wound up putting that over my head at one point. Thank God, because it would have been horrible.
I put sunscreen on, and I think I just basted it in like butter in a hot pan. I felt like a brisket.
Yeah,
the whole time, and unfortunately, the play on the field didn't mask the burning that we did in the stand.
No, it didn't help at all. So we've got a lot to say about that. One thing I want to get off the top right here real quick is you can call now and leave a message for us and ask some questions to us or comments. We will play them on the air. We're going to have one a little bit later. The number is 407-205-7427, 407-205-7427. Please call and leave us a voice message with a question or a comment, and we will, if we see fitting, we will put it on the air.
Yeah, we won't put any comment on the air, but we'll listen to them all regardless. If it's funny, then we don't mind.
Yeah, last week that was kind of the end, and I don't know if everybody got there, to the end, because one person called us.
But she left a fantastic question for us.
Yeah, and she was from Maryland, so we need somebody local here to call. I mean, I know that people listen to this because they can't listen to the radio here or whatever sometimes.
Listen, what do they do in Maryland? Crab cakes and football.
Crab cakes are great there.
Oh, yeah, you don't know what I'm referencing.
Their baseball's not too good, though.
Oh, they made it to the ALCS.
Yeah, but we whooped them. All right. Go Royals.
All right, now that we're not a Kansas City show, though, sometimes you don't know that.
Yeah, this week we are going to talk about the American and what went on in the rest of the league. We're going to talk about the Jaguars' first win. We're going to talk about the Temple game coming up. We're going to have a question from Jessica from Maryland. We're going to talk about the NFL a little bit as well, besides the Jags win, I think. I didn't get to watch very much of it, to be honest with you, this week. It was kind of a busy weekend. Troy, what did you see with the NFL? Let's just talk about that real quick.
So, I mean, it's basically with the Jaguars, except for, and it's shocking that someone got in a fight with Steve Smith Sr., but Kamal Ishmael got in a fight in the end zone with him, and he ripped off Kamal's helmet, and they wrestled each other to the ground.
So he got some FaceTime.
He didn't see his face.
Oh, it was the hair.
You saw the hair.
The hair. Yeah.
And then it would look like a really bad MMA fight as they hugged it out on the ground, as the referee futilely tried to break it up. It was, it's Steve Smith. He fights anything that moves.
Wow. I didn't know that about him. I guess I knew that he was, a good receiver in his day. I don't know about
this
now.
Is still his day.
Is it still his day?
And he could have been a fighter. I'm not saying he's a good fighter. He just punches everything he can. That's his answer to, he's like a mantis shrimp.
Well, I think that this would be a good time to hear from Blake Bortles on his first win.
It's awesome. Obviously to get a win is unbelievable. I think it's pretty cool. How involved the fans were was a great feeling. That was awesome. To see the defense play as well as they did, for us to put them in some backup situations, for me to put them in some backup situations, and them to bow up and play as well as they did. Really cool. As well as with the offensive line and the run game. We've moved the ball pretty well in the past couple 2-minute drills. But I think it was just good to get some points and go into half. Obviously I think that I can't turn the ball over, but it's something that's going to happen. I got to continue to grow and learn from it. But I mean, like I said, when those guys out there, Puz and Clem and Red, and those guys are making plays. Telvin's picking the ball up. Those guys are fine. That's fun to watch. It really is, and it's exciting to see. Me struggle personally and put them in some tough situations, and they play really well. Defense and offensive line and running game won the game. I mean, no doubt. I think anybody see that. So, I mean, I got to improve. I got to keep getting better. But it's part of it. Obviously I'm not happy with the way I played, but I'm extremely happy with the outcome of the game. Personally, I would have liked to play better and win, but, that didn't happen. That's not the way the game went. But, I mean, it's an unbelievable feeling to get the win, period.
It's awesome. I love that.
I know he was auditioning for Batman. Apparently,
I love that. I'm gonna make that a clip, and we're gonna use that at some point.
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
You can tell how jubilant he was just by winning. He didn't care that one touchdown, 3 picks in that game for sub 200 yards, and Storm Johnson got another touchdown.
Yeah. So,
but Denard Robinson ran the ball quite well for them.
Yeah, it's getting better. They're definitely going to get better.
So if there's hope for Jacksonville's offensive line.
Hopefully there's hope for ours.
That's where I was going with that.
It's looking pretty bad, and then we have to report that Colby Watson, one of our left guards, is out for the season now. Today that came out, and for, I guess, a back injury. It's kind of been hurting him, and he, I guess, had surgery on that.
It's pretty legitimate because UCF and Georgia Larry don't report on injuries, and therefore we generally don't touch on them. But his replacement was Chester Brown.
This was in the Sentinel
today.
Sentinel. So
that's what I mean.
It's out there now, and he talked about it today in his press conference as well.
But he was replaced by Chester Brown, who couldn't keep a cow out of a pasture.
Yeah.
I mean, he back-to-back holding penalties. I hate to beat dead horse in the offensive line, but holy crap, they suck.
Yeah. We're actually going to hear... I'm going to play the entire George O'Leary press conference directly after the game because I want you guys to hear what he had to say about it.
The entire?
It's pretty long. It's about 9 minutes long, but I want you guys to hear all of it. I want you to hear the questions that the people from the press asked, and I want you to hear what he had to say. So I'm going to do that now.
Just to cover the game, a win's a win, but I tell you, it's hard to enjoy a game like that, in my opinion, as far as the head coach. I went into the games talking about 4 things: consistency, execution, emotion, and passion, and I didn't think our offense showed one of them in this game. I thought it was pathetic, some of the things that were done out there from a penalty standpoint, a turnover standpoint, and we just can't continue doing those things. And we're lucky to win a game like that and without really doing anything offensively. Defensively, I thought we missed way too many tackles, which I said in the press conference. I thought they had good running backs that we had to tackle well. Other than that, then I thought they made some plays that kept us around and made plays to win the game. So other than that, then special teams had their moments. Drop pass on a punt. They got no first down in the red zone and 3 points in the first half. So it's just something that we got to get better at. You enjoy wins, all right, but that win to me is that we have to play a lot better than that if we're going to do what we have to get done this year. With that, I'll open up to any questions.
Coach, can you talk about what went into the decision to bring Eddie into the game?
Yeah. Were you at the game?
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to talk about that. I thought he overthrew four of the first 5 passes, and those are open plays that you got to make. And I thought it'd be better to put him on the sideline and watch what's going on. I thought Patty went in and did a good job, and we went back with the second half with Hallman, and obviously he made some plays there. But he can't miss the plays he's missing in the first half. And I thought he needed to sit down and see what was going on out there. And I thought Nick went out and did a good job filling in for what he did. Okay.
What kind of adjustments did you make in the offensive line unit today? Because you saw Aaron went in there.
Really didn't do much at all. Just got the left guard out of the game and put Milner in as far as what was going on. And that was where a lot of the problems were. Like we had gains and a holding call, We started in the red zone. We end up 2nd and 30 or something like that. You can't do those things as far as the calls. And we get a big run game. We got a holding call back there. I got to look and see what happened with the calls. And but it seemed to be an awful lot of calls out there today. And You just can't self-destruct like offense is doing. That's what they're doing out there, in my opinion, self-destruct, and whether holding calls, turnovers, big play sacks. You can't do that stuff and be a consistent offense, and that was the problem today.
How frustrating is it when you see Holman take big steps forward last week and then sort of go back this week?
Well, it's frustrating, but that's why he's on the sideline. I'm going to do what I think is best for the team all the time, and you can't miss plays like that. He played a little better in the second half, but that's why I spoke about consistency and execution. You got to get those things done, and he's still in the learning process. But again, I think it's something that I don't expect mistakes like that. Those weren't hard things to see, and you got to make throws when the opportunity's there. And it's not all him. There was poor blocking up front and a lot of run plays, and we just got to sit down. And as I told the team, their lives are about to change on Monday.
Coach, was the quarterback change, would you attribute it more to Holman and the offense not being able to move the chains, or have you seen something in Patty this past week in practice?
No, I just was tired of watching Holman. You need to see stuff from the sideline. I thought he was missing some key throws he had that were wide open, overthrowing them, and to me, I think you just need to settle down and see what's going on. And I thought Patty, he's practiced well, got a chance to go in there, and again, he made some plays, got points on the board for us when he was at quarterback. But we decided second half to go back with Justin, and it's just regroup on Sunday. But as I told the team, their lives are about to change Monday, because I'm not going to put up with that lackadaisical garbage I saw today from the offense. That's exactly what it was, in my opinion.
How would you
Even though it was a win. You got to enjoy the win, but I've been around football too long to know that you can't continue to win playing like that. You really can't.
How would you measure the progress of the run game today? Because there were moments where Stanback...
Well, I look good, but there's no reason. You got holding calls, and then Stanback fumbles twice. You can't do that stuff. And everybody wonders why I'm not playing Stanback a lot earlier. You find out why. All right? I do things for a reason, but he's a good backer. He's just not playing like I expect him to play right now. I expect more from him. I expect more from all of them. And we'll go back as coaches. We're all in this together and go back. But I think we just got to be a lot more, fighting the dog, as I see it, from our offense. I don't see that.
Coach, I know you said you were disappointed with the missed tackles on the defense.
Yeah.
But were you at least impressed with some of the stops that they made?
Yeah, I think they made good stops. But, I expect the defense to be consistent. I thought they were consistent for the most part. Did they execute? Yeah. But, again, I think tackling is emotion, and you can't be arm tackling people. And too much hidden yardage in plays that were stopped for a 1-2 yard gain ended up being 5-6 yard gain. We got to be better than that. I expect more from them. But, again, I thought they played, consistent most of the game, but when they have to make a play, you got to make one. So, on offense to me was just not consistent, nor execution was an issue as far as what I saw. And it's a win. That's what kids look at. It's a win, but you're not going to continue win playing like that. You're really not. So,
Coach, it seemed before the team got motivated and kept going, did they just have to wake up, or?
No, we practice in the morning. We practice before we play games here and stuff. As far as during the week. I just think it was a poor lack of execution. That's what I say. They could point fingers and do all they want. That's nothing to do with that. I think when guys aren't sustaining blocks, when quarterbacks are throwing the ball to the wrong people, when the ball's being fumbled, you got to look in the mirror eventually and see if we get that corrected. Okay?
Holman was wide open on that Worden pass that he turned around on his route too early and was backpedaling when he should have been
Execution. That's what I was talking about. We just got to continue to get better and enjoy the win, as I told the team, but their lives are about to change. We cannot continue playing like we're playing, fella. It's really, not if you want to continue to win. We gave too many field positions away today. I thought the defense hung in there tough early in the game, and that missed a field goal and kept them to a field goal another time. So, but they need to continue to do that. But we need to start, carrying our own weight on offense, and we're not doing that right now.
Coach, when you say lives are about to change, you're talking about personnel? Or
I'm talking about practice. Practice. Wait, we can't change their lives. No, I don't mean anything dangerous. I'm talking about their practice is about to change. We got to start working tougher on offense. I think we're too soft in offense right now. in my
So
opinion.
you're not in favor of their execution? You just
You're in favor of consistency.
Coach, defense has really stepped up the last couple of games,
Yeah.
for sure. They keep to be the backbone of the team.
I think
stand
that-
out on defense.
No, not really. I think they play well together. I think that's what they do, and I think they, one guy's playing well, and he's playing half the other team's thing too. So they're all helping each other win, and offensively, I don't question some of the things we're doing. I do question the consistency of it and the execution, which is what offense is about. So we got to get better at that, and obviously. When I say the lies, I mean as far as the mentality of we got to get thirds and ones, and you shouldn't have to be looking to throw the ball on 3rd and 1. All right, even though it was wide open, but we didn't still execute. All right, so those things got to get better on offense if we're going to get better. Okay.
Can I ask a Coach?
Coach, you talked about questionable calls throughout the game. How relieved were you after that targeting penalty got?
Well, it was first of all dumb on his part to hit the kid 2 yards out of bounds. That was not smart on his part. And again, I couldn't see with the shadow on the video screen. I'll look at it on the film and see what it was. But I'm glad because he would have been missing the next game and stuff. But that wasn't smart anyway. The kid was 2 yards out of bounds. He shouldn't even been trying to attempt to hit him and stuff. And and that'll be talked about as far as they understand. You don't do those. Usually things like that cause you to lose games. That's what you're trying to avoid.
Well, Troy, that was Coach O'Leary talking. What did you get from that?
He was unhappy, and the team gave him quite a bit to be unhappy about. The fan base, we were unhappy in the stands. It showed in our lack of enthusiasm, though. At times, we really need to stand up to try to impart a bit of enthusiasm and really lift this team up. But it was difficult. It was difficult to get behind what they were doing, all the missed plays. And it wasn't just them. I mean, the officiating crew was terrible as well. It was a slow-paced game, especially for being so low-scoring. And how many penalties flags did they pick up that they called?
Yeah.
I mean, I was...
The targeting penalty there, which was not targeting at all, and that wasted some time. And, it wasn't right for him to hit that guy out of bounds. And obviously, he... was punished for that.
You got an earful, as you rightfully should, and the senior leadership needs to step up, and I believe it will. Terrence Plummer has proven to be quite the leader, and other guys need to get in there and get involved. And we need better ball security. There's a lot of things we need that came up from this game that we can't carry over onto Temple, and we'll get a little bit extra focus. I really do think we're going to come out quite a bit livelier against Temple.
We did get to see Nick Patty for a little while.
You did.
Yeah, you were not in the stands.
I was not in the stands for the one sustainable drive we had. I got stuck in the 95-minute line to try to, get refreshments because, it was a good time. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the shade, but I heard everyone cheering, and I was like, oh, great, something to cheer about, and I can't see it.
And I think when you got back, I told you go back down there because maybe it's you. I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything that it could be, to be honest with you, because, I know we know what it is.
So you're a little desperate?
Yeah,
for some good play?
I didn't wear my lucky shirt. I should have. I couldn't wear 2 shirts for this game because it was at noon and it was so hot.
Do you wash your lucky shirt?
I do wash my lucky shirt.
God.
But, yeah. So
it was rough. You want to plus and minus? Do you have any pluses from that game?
Not a lot, but we do have some.
I have one right off the bat.
Okay, go ahead.
We got to win.
We did.
As ugly as we played.
This win, though, to me feels like a loss. It felt, when I left that stadium, when I was sitting there, that I ride the emotional roller coaster, and I think a lot of us do when, we're watching these games, especially in the stands. We talked about that last week, but, it gets harder and harder to go out there and watch these games, especially in the hot sun when, nobody acts like they want to be there.
What is this crap you're saying? As opposed to diehard fan with season tickets, you're gonna tell me right now it's getting harder and harder to watch this. What kind of hormonal ride are you on? You got to be dedicated to this. You put your hard-earned money and time into it.
Absolutely, I am totally 100% dedicated to it.
But it doesn't sound like it. You're wavering.
It does not make it enjoyable. Sometimes the way that they're playing and the way that the whole thing came across was not enjoyable, and it felt like a loss when we left. It still feels like a loss.
It felt like a win and a learning experience.
Well, I hope somebody learns something from it. Anyway.
We'll find out come Saturday.
So, pluses. I'm definitely going to give the defense the biggest plus.
We put
the
them
thing.
in disadvantageous position. Over and stand back, dropping that first, causing the first interception. Stand back fumbling. Caleb Houston fumbling. I mean, holy crap, we put them in terrible spots.
Yeah.
And they came up big. Jacoby Glenn was big on the outside. That defense, they had a couple missed tackles, but otherwise they were spot on. The win squarely on their shoulders.
Yeah. Jacoby Glenn being pointed out, especially from the defense, is just, a shutdown corner. He's only going to get better.
You know what
Hopefully
he is?
Stays.
He's a homeless man. And all those wide receivers, free hookers.
Okay.
Jacoby Glenn is, Josh Robinson, Jacoby, Ishmael.
I think he's better than those guys. And he's younger.
And Asante Samuel.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd put him better than Asante.
I wouldn't put him better than Asante right now, but
I think he will be.
We have some talented defensive backs in the short history of our program, especially at the
Jacoby
Division I
Glenn,
level.
if you're listening, you're probably not, but just hang out.
Way to be optimistic.
Stay here, please. We need you.
You know what? Thank you for playing. And what is it? Griffin's getting better. That's nice to see as well.
Yeah, the Griffin, both of them were suited up this week. I don't know if we ever saw Shaquem.
I didn't see him.
It's Shaquem, right? Yeah, okay. I think they're 18 and number 10. I did talk to Mama Griffin on the way into the stadium. We will try to talk to her again next week and have her on.
Mama
here.
Griffin, like this is a Family Guy.
Oh yeah, she's great.
Yeah,
she is just full of energy, and she tailgates, right down 2 or 3 spots from us, and so it was good to see those guys dressed. Now, one thing that was kind of weird, and I mentioned it to you, and I guess you had heard something about it. I never heard it, but none of the players that weren't the
scout teams,
the red shirts, none of them were really out there.
No, they pissed off Grandpa O'Leary. They were in the way, which is kind of hard to do. Sometimes there's just, especially when you have an ESPN telecast, there's just so much crap on the sidelines that you tend to walk in the way, and we got a couple warnings for being on the field and such. So he just said, "Sorry, boys, go find your way into the stands." And since they're students, they could get in for free and hang out with the students. And it's technically is a privilege and it's something to work towards.
And there were a couple more of them this week that were actually in game uniforms than not. So that I noticed. You never know. We may see Tyler Harris at some point.
We are not burning his red shirt unless
I don't know.
Unless a comet hits both Holman and Patty, we are not burning Harris.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised. I would hate to do that, but we have some good quarterbacks coming.
Do you really think Holman is that bad? I'm going to turn this on you.
To be honest with you, I'm not sure right about now. Because I've seen him get better, and then I've seen him regress like this game and get worse.
Okay, couple things. How many starts does he have?
What, 3, 4?
6. This is his 6th start.
Oh, well.
How many reps did he get last season?
He probably got, he was in 2 or 3 times, I think.
All right.
I know he's only been playing quarterback since the 10th grade.
No, I'm not even touching on that. He's a true sophomore.
Right.
We have a bad offensive line. When with the talent we have a wide receiver, we need to get him in a rhythm early.
We have a quarterback that cannot take any juice off the ball, hardly at all. We've seen him maybe make 1 or 2 touch passes the entire year that have actually worked. One being stand back, getting the touchdown last week. But besides that, what touch passes have we really seen from him?
God, you're like, if you were rich, you'd be Scrooge, man. He's negative all the time. Luckily, you're poor.
I'm like I said, I'm getting tired of this.
You have such a short leash on him.
I'm a big fan. I am a diehard fan, but it upsets me and pisses me off that this is the way that our football team decides to play.
Here's
I've been thinking about this all day, actually, about the offensive line. Number 1, the brothers that we had last year on the line are our biggest loss, period. Not Blake Bortles, not Storm Johnson. Those 2 guys and the one other person that we lost, excuse me, I cannot remember his name.
I get where you're going with this, and I
were the biggest
I can agree with you,
losses.
And it hurts me to agree with you.
Were the biggest losses, period. I think that last year, if we did not have them on our offensive line and the offensive line that we had, maybe this would have happened last year, to be honest with you. Blake Bortles, definitely, obviously, he's an absolute stud, and he's in the NFL, and he's, he's awesome.
To suggest...
But if we didn't have that line, could he have done as well, and could Storm Johnson have done as well? I don't think that Storm Johnson could have done as well. I love Storm Johnson, but he's not...
Okay, let me just...
There's other running backs that are better than that.
To suggest that Blake Bortles' style of play and his understanding of the offense wasn't able to aid the line is a little naive. I'm not saying it's what you're stating.
I didn't say that.
But some people have stated that.
I didn't say that.
Blake helps out the line. Storm helps out the line. Our running backs right now, Wilson and Stanback, aren't giving them anything to work with. Our play calling, not being able to get the ball out fast. It was great in the BYU, especially in the beginning of the BYU game. We lost a lot of that tonight, and it prevents our quarterback from getting into rhythm. However, Storm leaving when he did was, perfect for him because it's next to impossible to run behind this line. Therefore, he probably wouldn't have been drafted at all had he stayed after this season because, look at Stanback's numbers, and I'm not saying Stanback is as good as a running back as Storm. He's a great change.
I honestly think he's better, to be honest with you.
And I'll let you hold on to that.
He's not getting his chance this year because the offensive line opens 0 holes. 0.
He dodges linebackers like Arturo Gotti dodged punches. That dude cannot make a man miss. He has ball security issues, and he might be in his own head, and the line is not giving him opportunity.
I think
sometimes the game has to slow down, and when guys are on top of you right off the bat, it's not slowing down at all. It's speeding up, and it makes it more difficult.
Well, we have to get this offensive line problem fixed, and I don't see it happening this year.
I agree.
And I maybe don't even see it. I've been thinking about this. I don't know that it's going to happen next year.
I could. We have some gingers that we recruited. Luke Ayers is one of the best centers in the nation, and they're tenacious.
I'm worried.
And have you seen his highlights? That guy gets off the ball and just gets into people. It's great to see.
Well, we need him to come early.
Not going to happen.
We need him here in, late November.
The offensive line play makes me question Brent Key a bit as a coach.
Absolutely. It makes me question all of them, to be honest with you. It makes me question Charlie Taff, and it makes me question George O'Leary. Because the discipline that this team has had in the past, we do not have anymore.
We don't have it on this line.
We don't have it in a lot of the game, to be honest with you. The fumbles, we had
a fair amount of fumbles last year.
Oh, man. But this is...
there's a lot of yellow rags on the ground.
Oh, man. The penalties, the fumbles.
Which inhibits movement of the offense, which kills rhythm and momentum. And there's a lot of things wrong with it. It's an inconsistent offense on a good day.
Yep.
Temple is going to give us another opportunity to shine, and hopefully this incredibly pathetic outing against Tulane is a wake-up call to our young men.
This was Tulane, and this is one of the things that makes me extremely pissed off about this. It was Tulane. We should have beaten Tulane 40-0. We should have. And we didn't.
We got a win. In the past 20 games, we're 17-3.
If it wasn't for our defense, we would have never won that game.
It's true. However, that happened. We're moving on. Who are we playing on Saturday?
So the pluses and minuses, the way we were going here.
Oh, yeah, okay. Before we moved into Temple.
Yeah, the only plus, really, that I can give is the defense.
Perryman?
Yeah, Perryman, too.
Let me tell you on that play.
Perryman is a constant playmaker. If he gets the chance and gets the ball in his hands, he'll do something with it. He doesn't have very many yards this year just because he's not getting the ball to him. And the rest of the receivers, JJ, did he get the ball at all this week?
Nick Patty hit him twice.
Yeah.
There's 2 games.
Nick Patty hit him twice.
Where Perryman has taken a reception and gone to the house on a relatively short play. Both of them bailed out Holman and gave us the win.
Yep.
Houston in this game. However, that play by Holman was smart. They came with the blitz inside. You throw into the blitz because it's cleared out field. hit him on slant, quick, broke one arm tackle, and was gone. That's how it's done. That was textbook.
Yeah.
You didn't have much else that was textbook. But he's working on it. I guarantee you, they feel worse about this than we do as a fan base.
I know they do. But, it's just, it's difficult to watch.
It's a win. It's a fourth straight win.
It is.
And we're growing as a team. You got to be somewhat optimistic, man.
I'm not, to be honest with you. I think ECU is going to eat our lunch. I mean, they are just going to destroy us. They're going to... I'm calling it right now. ECU destroys us if something doesn't happen and happen now.
So, okay, I want to put a bet on this. Define destroy.
I'm talking like 35-40-3.
You want to put a bet on it?
Sure. I mean, whatever. I don't care.
We were within 4 touchdowns of ECU?
Within 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, you just said we lost 35-3. That's 32 points.
I don't know. I mean, they probably don't have the defense we do, so hopefully our defense.
Well, if you're going to say it, you got to put your money where your mouth is.
That's fine. I don't care. Yeah, well, that's fine. We'll shake on it.
Well, what are we betting? What are we betting?
I don't know. What do you want to bet? It's not like $100 or anything because I don't have $100.
Oh, nor do I. I don't know. We'll do a Four Rivers dinner.
Oh, I'm not buying that stuff.
Well, then if you win, of course you're not buying that stuff.
I will. I'll take you to like Bubbaloo's or something.
All right, done. I like Bubbaloo's too.
Yeah,
best beans in town.
Four Rivers.
Four Rivers brisket sucks, but their pulled pork's good.
Oh man,
anyways,
Texas barbecue.
I get it. It's salty as hell.
Ugh.
All right, moving on. Who are we playing on Saturday?
Saying that every time. We are playing Temple. They are 4-2 as well as we are 4-2. They are 2-1 in the American, and we are 2-0 in the American. It is October 25th at 5 p.m. It is homecoming.
This is going to be a packed house.
It's going to be on the CBS Sports Network, which is not CBS, but it's the Sports Network.
Who cares? We'll be there live.
Yeah. What do you know about Temple? Besides their quarterback is a dual threat guy and runs all over the place. And
did you watch their game this weekend?
I did not. It was on Friday, and I was busy with a photo shoot.
All right.
I saw the score, though, and the score was
not wholly indicative of the entire game. They were getting ready to tie it up 17-17 when their dual-threat quarterback, you mentioned, P.J. Walker, went for a little bit extra on the goal line on first down, went to reach. They stripped the ball. That was the one play, just like the Mizzou game after the interception off the helmet, that changed the whole game. Here's the thing about Temple and P.J. Walker. P.J. Walker reminds me of Jeff Godfrey, but has developed the ability to play out of the pocket and under center. He has a cannon of an arm. He makes great plays on the run, uses his legs very well to get out of situation. However, if you stop him, that's it. He's 95% of their offense, with 5% being number 34, the running back, his old high school teammate, who himself on 10 touches had 199 yards of offense, 49 on the ground, and 3 catches for 150 yards coming off screens. So they ground out, triple, because they have some speed. Otherwise, they're below average by far. A terrible offense.
It looks like efficiency. They are 64th in the nation in passing yards, 98th in rushing yards. Yeah. Points against is really high.
But here's the deal with them. They have a pretty solid defense. Ioannidis and Matakevich, and I'm butchering this poor kid's name.
Actually, I'm sorry, it's really low. They're 9th in the nation.
On defense, they have a solid defense. And that linebacker's a ginger himself. There you go. We're recruiting a lot of gingers. That kid can make tackles. They get on the ball. They fly to the ball. They get good penetration on the defensive line. They have a really solid defense.
Well, we had to make some miraculous plays to beat them last year.
And P.J. Walker had one of the games of his career last year. And so did Blake Bortles on Temple. This is going to be a defensive affair. It's going to be who can, i.e., contain Walker, which we can if we keep a spy, especially Dominic Spencer, someone with a little more lateral speed, Troy Gray or Chequan Burkett, to keep him in check, to watch the screens. Then we control their offense. Then we just need to get our offense into a rhythm. Please start it off early with a few swing passes and stuff, and then we can control the game. It's going to be the efficiency and ability of our offense to execute versus our defense to be able to contain Walker and Jawad Harris, I believe is the other gentleman's name. I probably got it wrong, but I'm sorry. And then that's it. That's the game. That's the game plan we're going to have. They have a good defensive front seven.
Jihad Thomas and Jamie Gilmore.
I did butcher his name.
Are their running backs?
Number 34. I got that part right. That's what I saw in the film. I don't remember everyone's name. However, we have the ability to easily win this game. They are soft in certain areas. They are inefficient on offense. However, we're 120th or something like that in offense. They're terrible on third down, so are we. There's a lot of similarities between our programs on their ability to execute on this season. We have a higher level of athletes with a lot more experience, and this should be a game, especially on homecoming. The crowd's going to bring it. It's going to be a packed house, beautiful weather. It's supposed to rain a little bit in the morning, possibly. This is going to be a good game for UCF, and especially for us to show that we can bounce back from such a terrible performance against Tulane.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the rest of the American real quick here.
There's only three games other than ours.
Yeah, it was an off week for a couple of people. USF beat Tulsa, kind of. It didn't look like there was a lot of defense
what do you
going
mean,
on.
Kind of. A win's a win. We got to win against Tulane.
Yeah, well,
Listen.
it is. It is in X's and O's, and it's a win is a win. But I just want to see a win that is substantial and a win that makes us, all right, man, that was.
Are you the type of guy who would bitch if it was raining money because you'd be getting wet?
No, I need money really bad.
I mean, it's a win. It's a crappy win. It's an ugly win. We've had ugly wins before. If we play like this against Temple, it's going to give me something to concern about because that's a trend. If it's not a trend now, we're just up and down.
Yeah. So
it's like a rocky relationship. It's still going good at the moment.
No, it is. It is. I mean, I'm pretty down on it, as you can tell. You can hear it in my voice, I'm sure. And I've said it a million times. I'm down on it. We're still 4-2. It's not that bad of a season, but we've got a lot of major issues, and I think later on down the line, like I've said earlier, it's going to get even worse. If it doesn't get better. It's got to get better quick, or it's going to get worse.
All right. Well, at least you're not a USF fan. They were down 30-14 in the third quarter.
I would never be a USF fan.
Well, I get this, but Tulsa blew this game, much like Tulane blew that game against Tulsa. USF came back. Mike White, that Andre, whatever, their wide receiver that they missed most of the season, 12 catches for just under 300 yards and 3 touchdowns for the past 2 games he's been back. He's really opened up that offense. And he didn't get going until the end. Tulsa controlled this game. Time of possession, yardage. They really played well for about 3 quarters, and then the last 24 points was scored by USF. Hopefully that doesn't really give them momentum going forward. Tulsa's a bad team.
Yeah.
Tulane's a bad team.
I don't think they're quite as bad as SMU, though. SMU probably is the bottom of the barrel. Maybe with UConn.
You want to know how bad SMU is?
How bad is SMU?
They made Cincinnati.
I almost looked like they have another hooker joke. I thought this was going to be another hooker analogy. I thought for sure I just let him have it.
I'll develop some more ladies of the night analogies. They made Cincinnati almost look like they have a competent defense.
Cincinnati 41, SMU 3. Wow. See, I want a victory like that.
Listen, don't worry about it. Cincinnati.
That's what I want.
You want a lot of things.
I want that. I want a victory 41-3.
On the road. That would be nice. Gunnar Kiel
anywhere, I'll take it.
They played all 3 quarterbacks, and their third-string quarterback got arrested for getting in a fight after the game at a bar at 4 a.m. Cincinnati's. They only gave up like 276 yards or 300. I mean, it was their best defensive output because SMU's just
knock
terrible.
on wood, at least we're not having discipline problems. At least. That is the one thing I can say. Knock on wood, we don't have discipline problems yet.
Hey, I'm fine with that. Listen, at least we're not every other team in the conference other than ECU. I really like UCF. I like where we're at. We have growing pains at the moment. We're in a bit of a transition. We're much better than Cincinnati. Cincinnati couldn't cover me. SMU, I think Bethune would smack them around a bit.
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
USF, they live in Tampa. It's just crap to be them. Tulsa, have they fallen from a couple years before. Houston finally got their act together, and Greg Ward is looking like a decent quarterback, but they still lost to us. again.
I still think we're lucky that a lot of these guys are cupcakes this year.
Well, yes, this
it's
year
going to make us really lucky.
It's fortuitous that we have the type of schedule coming up upon us, so we can get our act together for USF and for ECU.
All right, I'm going to play a question that we got from one of our lovely listeners.
Do you have a jingle for this too?
I don't yet. I'll make one, but I'm gonna.
You're gonna do a seance for Lawrence Welk
again? I'm gonna play this question from her. This is her voicemail that she left on the phone, and I'm gonna try to reset and come back in a little bit better of a mood. All right, here we go.
Hello, this is Jessica calling from Maryland. I'm a UCF class of 2004. And I was just wanting to ask you, do you think that if UCF runs the table for the rest of the year, if we go 10-2, do you think we will be eligible for an Access Bowl after we beat East Carolina if they are ranked in the top 15 still?
Troy, what do you think about that? I'm going to give you the first shot at that.
Yes. And let me tell you why. Marshall, who's most likely going to run the table, and unfortunately in the whole playoff picture, they don't give enough credence to strength of schedule because Marshall's strength of schedule is about equivalent to Winter Park High School's strength of schedule. It's abysmal. They're basically running an FCS schedule this season. If UCF goes 10-2, beats a top 15 ECU team, and if we're look impressive along the way, especially if we dominate USF down in Tampa and dominate, East Carolina up in South Carolina, then we bring a much bigger fan base. We bring much better TV ratings. We travel better. You got to think about this. A lot of these bowl games, you don't want some of these lower tier teams there just because these bowl committees are going to lose money. Marshall brings absolutely no revenue. Is there still a chance that they get it because they're undefeated and it's just hype for no reason?
Marshall has played no one.
They've technically played teams, no one of any quality.
Yeah, it's bad.
And
they have they've scored a lot of points anyway.
Bethune beat FIU as well, just like Marshall did this weekend.
Yeah.
Not quite the same score, but you're getting the gist of my argument here. Going back to the financials, college football is all about the finances and revenue generated and shared or not shared. Marshall generates exactly zero revenue, even for Marshall. UCF doesn't generate $22 million a year or whatever the share is for the Big 12. However, we do travel, as Ireland. We travel some to Arizona. We have the 19th largest media market in the nation, with Tampa also being number 12. Marshall doesn't even register. We bring a program that won a BCS bowl game last year, in the last BCS bowl, other than championship. We've been 10 wins past 3 out of 4 years. We bring a lot more validity to the TV sets, to the field than Marshall does. Marshall is the flavor of the month, though it's a crappy flavor. UCF, not over a decade have we been fantastic, but for this senior class and a sustainable amount of time, we've been a good program. So we bring more to the table financially, and bowl committees aren't going to want to lose money. They want a better matchup, and UCF provides a better matchup, period.
Yeah, I honestly don't even want to think about it until we beat ECU.
Well, it's a question. You have to think about it. I know it's all hypothetical.
And I said I would come back in a better mood. All right, so...
did you suck on some Werther's Originals and get happy?
No. I don't really like those things. Anyway. Yeah, well, that would be nice and all. Hopefully ECU is still ranked once we get to play them, and hopefully we can get our stuff together and we can make that what will be our de facto conference championship.
Exactly, de facto conference championship.
That's the way that it should play out, and I think that we would have an advantage, over some of those other temes with that. Hopefully ECU can keep going.
You seem very hesitant. Spit it out. What are you really trying to say here? I
still do not know if it's going to happen. I'm really worried about that game.
Well, yeah, you made a bet that we're going to lose with me. You bet me food, a dinner that we're going to lose.
It's just the way that I feel right now.
Well, then stick to it. You're willing to put your money where your mouth is, and then say the same thing here. You don't think it's going to happen because you don't think we're going to beat ECU.
I do not, to be honest with you.
Well, I know you're being honest with me. You've said it before.
I want to, of course. Of course I want to. I want this team to win, but something needs to happen.
Not everything in this world is rainbows, unicorns, and sunshine, man.
It's absolutely not. And I totally understand that, but, it just... I don't know what it is, but somebody's got to say the right thing to these guys, or these guys have to just dig down and find whatever it is that they need to find.
Either this team's going to get it this season, or they're not. We're halfway through the season. There's not a lot that could be said.
And I do not have a lot of faith, to be honest with you, from what I've seen. I mean, there are definitely guys that go out there and make miraculous plays, but miraculous plays only go so far. Yes, they might get you the win.
They took us a decent ways last year. A little, they helped.
It definitely did. Okay. Anyway, so
Jessica, thank you very much.
Jessica, yes,
excellent
absolutely.
question.
Please, I'm sure that
if we're going to Atlanta for the Chick-fil-A Bowl, I'm there, man. That'd be great to hit that Access Bowl up.
Yeah. There was a bowl thing on ESPN. Did you see where they they had us going to St. Petersburg and playing
I'm fine with that. It saves a little bit of money after I didn't do the travel.
Some high school team or something.
UTEP.
I know high school teams that are a lot better than UTEP.
Name one.
I don't know, but
obviously if UTEP's making a bowl game, they're not that bad. They're not that good, but. I'm fine with playing UTEP. It's not a sexy opponent, but it could be a nice weekend down in Tampa.
And who was the other one that they... Oh, Cal.
was in Birmingham.
Somebody else, it said that if we get to the Birmingham thing, Cal. That would be intriguing.
That's a little bit sexier.
I'd like to see that.
Of an opponent,
I'd like to go to Atlanta versus going to St. Pete.
Who wouldn't?
Personally. St. Pete's got nice beaches and all that, but that stadium... not the best for football, especially. Did you see the turf the last time we played there?
I don't remember it.
I had better turf at my high school than that.
Well, you have fields of grain and
absolutely
everything out there in Kansas.
Yep. We have real grass.
And you have cows in your fields out there.
Not in the football fields, maybe around it.
And it's how you mow it.
Yep. All right, so let's do a question.
We have another question, don't we?
We do. We have one from Kurt and his...
geriatric jingle. Bring it on.
All right, here we go. All right, Knight fans, welcome to this episode of Kurt's Questions, featuring Kurt Searcy. All right, Knight fans, this week the question is... at the midseason, do you have a revised look on the season win-loss record? And if so, what is it? Yeah. I thought that we would maybe be undefeated at this point. Maybe have one loss. I really thought that we would have beat Penn State. But we've seen a lot of things since then. So, yeah. I think we'll be lucky if we just have 3 losses.
I can see your point. I expected us to lose the Mizzou, hence I picked us losing the Mizzou. Moving on through, I imagine us being 5-1, and we are a defensive stop away from 5-1. We are also a couple defensive stops away from being 2-4. So, a revision, I think we're pretty much on point where I expected us to be. Our level of play isn't exactly where I expected it to be. Our defense, has grown up over the season, so that's a nice thing to see. But otherwise, I think we're pretty much on point. We're still in a pole position to win this conference. Technically ECU is because they have the home game against us, but we're in a great position. We control our own destiny to win this conference. Therefore, I'm very happy with where we stand.
All right, well, I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it again. We need a decisive win this week.
Why?
Because everybody needs some confidence. The players need confidence. The fans need confidence. It'll do everybody some good to have confidence.
So if we get a win and make that 5 wins in a row, does that not breed confidence?
It does, but I feel like the players are down on themselves as well because they know that they didn't give it their all out there. I guarantee it. I didn't get to play some of the clips that we had. But here, I'm going to play one right now, actually, from Joey Grant, and this will tell you right here.
I think we came out a little flat, and I think that started in pregame, and that's on the team. That's nothing, coach. That's completely on us, and we got to pick it up, and we will.
What's got to change on the offensive line going forward? And Coach Lee wasn't happy. He said, 3rd and 1, you need to make that every time.
Yeah, I mean, we got to sustain blocks, got to knock people off the ball, do what offensive linemen do. And I think that's basically what it comes down to, toughness at the point of attack. And I don't think we have that as well as we need to right now, and we got to pick it up.
All right, that's nice to hear. So riddle me this, is he blowing smoke at us, or does he actually believe it? Because if that's the case, if they believe it, then that's the one word that society kind of misses as a whole, holding yourself accountable.
I think that he absolutely means it because Joey Grant is a smart man. He is. He's academically...
Well, smart men can say things just to make people happy.
No, I don't think so.
I'm not saying he is, and I'm not suggesting that. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
No, I think
But if they do hold themselves accountable, then we're going to see a different product on the field come this Saturday.
I think so, and maybe this was great to have a game like that. Maybe it was the best thing that could have ever happened to us.
Holy crap, here comes the curmudgeon. He's coming over to the good side.
I'm thinking, oh, you know what? Whatever it takes, I guess, to get us to play a better game.
So, would you be happy if we lost 35-34 or if we won 7-3?
Well, of course I'd be happy if we won 7-3.
Exactly. It's like
I'd be happy if we won, period. Which we have.
That's where I'm getting at.
But
it's like at the end of the night, you could go home alone or you have the fat chick.
Well, I'd rather go home alone on
there
that
you
one.
go.
I'm sorry, but okay, if you put it that way.
Well, okay.
Hey, fat chicks need loving too.
Exactly. Wins. We need wins for the program, period. 5 wins instills a bit of confidence and is able to help this team grow. Our wins are going to be ugly this year. We're not going to look like Texas Tech of a couple of years ago. We're going to blow people out.
I honestly worry as well about us falling out of the public eye and, into irrelevancy, like people like to say.
If we have 10 wins a season, how relevant is that?
I know. It's not, but...
Listen, this is a nuts and guts type of season.
There's been a couple games that have been on, ESPN and
what did we
like
give
that.
them in the BYU game?
We gave them a great game in that one. We did.
What did we give them in the Penn State game? A hell of a second half.
It was, yeah, and a chance to come back and all that. Yeah, you're
value.
Right.
Let me go back to a name I mentioned earlier, Arturo Gatti. I don't care about these belts. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a voting member of the Boxing Hall of Fame, been a boxing writer for years, so I use a lot of boxing analogies. Arturo Gatti was never a real champion. He was a titleist, never a champion, didn't win the big fights. That dude made millions upon millions of dollars. He packed the Boardwalk Hall on Jersey Shore, not Jersey Shore, but in Atlantic City, because he was entertaining as hell. People remember him because of what he brought to the table. Those games, we lost one, we won one, we brought something to the table. We brought an entertainment value. People seem to forget that sports in general, period, athletes, they're all entertainers first, and therefore they get paid based on how we enjoy the product they put out as opposed to the fact that they are athletes, which is why people bitch and complain about how much athletes make, but we're the ones that are footing the bill.
Absolutely.
So we're footing the bill by giving ESPN...
Because we enjoy it, and when, we go up with them and we go down with them. It's a roller coaster of emotions. Like I've said before, we've said it,
And you better hop along for the ride, baby, because this is going to be an up and down season.
Oh, I hope it gets better. So, we've got a couple more chances here.
So tell me, your prediction for this game.
Oh, man. My prediction for this game, UCF 34, hopefully.
This is a prediction. This isn't a hopeful prediction. Give me a prediction.
Temple 14.
34-14.
I will be happy, and I will say it on here next week. I will be happy if we get a game like that.
Before this music pops on at me again, because it always seems to. 17-10, UCF over Temple. I'm not taking the fat chick home, but I'm taking her thinner ginger sister. Instead of going home alone, we're grabbing a win. It's going to be close. It's going to be somewhat ugly. It's going to be a defensive battle. But we grind this one out, and we move forward.
I hope that there is a fire lit under some people.
And not the stands. It's got to be much cooler.
No, some players. Hopefully, George, like you said, their life is going to change, and hopefully he's done that this week.
I want real quick. The UCF Night Band. You weren't crappy. You were actually entertaining. I like the time warp. Well done.
All right. Remember, 407-205-7427, 407-205-7427. Give us a call.
Thank you for listening to Knightline Podcast, number Baker's Dozen. This is Troy Ondrizek.
And Andrew Phegley. Have a good one.